Hello and welcome to the project costing plugin demo. Okay, first screen you see is obviously the dashboard. It lists all the projects that are outstanding at this moment in time. You can roughly see what stage they're at, what the budget total is, the actual, any variance, if there's any profit in the job. You've got a filter on here to sort of say just look at a particular stage or project managers, jobs. You've also got a find screen up here, so we've got a find project. It'll list them all into projects, estimates, in progress, not started. Just a different way of looking at the actual projects themselves. So let's open a project up. Okay, so in here we can see the project name, the customer that it's assigned to, the contact of that customer, if there's a delivery address assigned to it, what stage is it at, status is it at, sorry, obviously estimate, in progress, not started, complete or cancelled, it's a sales order value, and we have a percentage gross profit that we expect to actually get based on that. So it looks at the kind of sales order value there and the cost so far, and it gives us a traffic light to say, okay, we're still okay at 20% margin on that. It gives it a project number, telephone number, start date, stage. Obviously these are stages that you can decide what they are. You can link a quote and an opportunity to the project if it's come from that. You can assign a project manager, and you can assign a user to the actual project as well. Okay, so while we're here, let's just go into setup. Okay, and we can look at employees. Okay, so these are all the employees that I can use in the project costing, and you can also assign them to a user as well. Well, I'll show you in a minute, but you can do some with user roles. You can cut down what people can do in here, and you can get people to actually input their own timesheet. So by tying them to a particular user, it means you can fix them to only be able to enter one employee's timesheet. Okay. We also have stages. Okay, so that's those stages that I just showed you in there, which is obviously user definable, and basically cost headers. Okay, so cost headers are quite important. These are all the things that you want to divide your costs up into. So we have one overall, which is other labour and materials, but within that you can have whatever you like, basically, to define or split up costs and budgets. Okay. We also have something called a work type as well, if you wanted to kind of subdivide that as well even further. Okay. Alright, so let's go back to our project, and we can see here a summary of what's going on. So the budgeted labour, the actual labour, the materials, and overall, we budgeted to spend that. We're actually spending that, so we're kind of a bit over. We've got a description box. We have budgets here. So in the labour, other materials, we can actually assign the cost headers, just by adding them or taking them away. When we do, we can say a quantity. We can also say change the rate as well if we want to. So that ends up at our total budget value against the actual, and obviously with variances. And you've got it same for materials. We also have something called expected items. Okay, so we're just going to maximize this up a bit so you can see it a bit better, a bit wider. Okay, so this is where you can put things that you expect to use on the project or have to buy on the project. So you can add as many as you like, so you can just literally kind of pick one, and add it. And when you've done that, you can then change the cost price if you want to, change the description. You can say, well, am I going to buy it or take it from stock? Because obviously if I'm going to buy it, then I can specify a supplier. And I can basically change their cost price, and I can say yes, let's create the purchase order. So I can decide just by kind of ticking some. You can see here these are already had their purchase orders created. If you voided one of those, then obviously it would take it away and you could recreate it. So just by clicking that button here, I can create a purchase order for that one. So if I click on it, it'll just bring up that one probably. So that's what it's going to do. Okay, so I'll just say okay, get rid of it. I can also add a lot of items by kind of copying a kit or a bill of material. Yeah, so if I kind of picked on a particular, I don't know, a bike, well not bike, let's just do the chair wheels. And what it does is all the items within the chair wheels, yeah, will basically be dumped onto here. I can remove them, yeah, I can change the quantities and all that kind of stuff. But it's just an easy way of, adding a lot of items quickly. Yeah, and there's also a button here to summarize by that particular, heading on the actual one or not. Yeah, and you can also update the budget. So at the minute, the materials budget is 686. Yeah, so if I kind of update the budget from all these expected items, yeah, that would update it to 890 now. Yeah, just a way of kind of, basing your materials budget of code, yeah, based on the items that you expect. Okay, so we've got actual costs. Yeah, so these are all the things that actually have been happening. So timesheets, yeah, the quantity, the rate, the total value, the cost heading used, any detail, has it been authorized, has it been billed, yeah, so stock adjustments, in and out, yeah, so obviously that's a in one because we're bringing the stock back, that's putting the stock, whatever. Purchase orders, so these are the purchase orders that are outstanding. So if I open a purchase order up, yeah, like that one, what you'll be the way you can assign a purchase order item line to a project is basically these two fields here on the item line. Yeah, so that's how you can assign any project item line to it. Okay, goods received. So at some point that purchase order then converts to goods received. Yeah, so it comes out of purchase orders and goes into goods received, even if it's partly done. And then when the bill matches up against the goods received, that's when obviously it would go out of goods received and into bills. Okay. We can see from a sales point of view what sales orders are outstanding. So a lot of people use this as their stage payments. So you'd set a sales order up for payment now, payment on delivery of whatever stage or whatever it is. So then they're all outstanding. So all your sales orders and payment and expected kind of payment days are all in there, and then you just convert them to an invoice when you're ready, yeah, to actually bill them and send to the customer. We have a kind of profit screen. So this it just summarizes, the timesheets, the stock, and all this kind of stuff, and says this is where we are with this project. Yeah, so obviously we're not doing too well on that one. Notes, so you can add as many notes as you want. You can add documents, images, spreadsheets, whatever you want against the actual project. You've got a planner, so you can add activities. Yeah, and you can just click that button to create an activity, or you can do what's called quick activity, and this is just a way of kind of adding to the actual project. So it can be a to-do activity, case, meeting, whatever, and if I go to the kind of next item line, I can add another one. So these are all the things that I need to do on the project. Yeah, so I say okay, it'll open it up, then I can further edit it if I want to, and then save and close. See, it's put the project over there. Yeah, and then you'll see it's added it to it, so you can look at it on a timeline exactly what's going on. So it looks at, we're at week 44 from the system's point of view, so everything from there on in, it's just the outstanding items. So whether they're activities, yeah, or these are GRNs that have come in, yeah, outstanding purchase order with item line due dates. So it kind of just gives you a summary, yeah, of what's going on. So you can see here, I've got some sales orders on here, and the activities, there's that test 1, 2, 3, 4 or whatever, so you can see that's kind of it's week 18 on here. Yeah, okay. So that's kind of your project screen. Okay, so let's kind of do a timesheet. Okay, so in here, this is the kind of the manager type timesheet entry. Yeah, I can import timesheets if I want to from a spreadsheet. So if you've got all the spreadsheet timesheets done in a spreadsheet already, or so exported from some other system, yeah, you can just literally just import them. Yeah, or what you can do is you can actually kind of manually enter them and say, right, okay, employee code, me, let's say, cost type, what is it, labour or other. That just filters the ones that I can actually see here. So I'll say it's labour overtime, it's 2 of them. It puts the rate in, which I can change if I want to. Yeah, and I just say, yeah, it's authorised, on to the next one. Yeah, and again, yeah, however many you want to do. Okay, so the difference with this other one, yeah, is the it limits it, yeah, to what you can actually do. So if I was a user that was restricted, I don't think I am basically, but if I was a restricted user, yeah, then what it would do is it would lock my employee record. I would not be able to change it. It would lock my employee record, yeah, and a kind of a work type, whatever detail completed. So I can't see the rates. You see here, I can't see the rates, yeah, because one of the options is if I just come out of here, employees. Okay, so you see I've got here show rates or values. Yeah, so in the simple timesheet entry, yeah, I've linked myself actually to Tony, so I couldn't change the employee, yeah, and I can't see the rates or the values. So all I can do in the simple timesheet entry is enter my timesheet, yeah, and it locks it to me, and that's it. I can't enter it to anybody else. But it's a way of getting employees to actually enter their own, yeah, timesheets rather than they have to be done by someone else. But of course, the ability to import timesheets from a spreadsheet, means that people can put their time on a spreadsheet, and that's another way of doing it. Okay, so we can do corrections. So if you kind of do a purchase order and miss or an invoice or whatever it might be, and miss off the project, you can come back to it later and actually do that. So if I kind of missed it off one of these, I could open it back up, yeah, and actually kind of change it. I could update it here and now. Okay. The only other thing was, I don't know if you noticed in that preference, was exclude sales order costs. This is just an option that when you do a sales order, sometimes you might sell stock items on it, yeah, but you might have issued it to the project, yeah, so you wouldn't want the costs on that item to also go against the project. But this gives you the option to include them or exclude them, basically. Okay. Got a dashboard here as well for a calendar. So all those activities and things coming in and out, yeah, you can actually view them on a calendar, yeah, as well as obviously overall for all projects, yeah. So if I kind of group this by, let's say, attendee or whatever you're assigned to, you can see that all the people, yeah, that are working on the jobs, yeah, you can see their timeline, or you can see it by project. It's up to you. Okay, thanks very much. Okay, bye.